What consistently surprises me about life is how once you cut off someone, you really do not see them again. You live in the terror of finding them at a party because you had mutual friends or worked in the same place. You assume you will run into them because they technically lived a few blocks away or might have a change of heart or return you the money they owed you. Yet the truth is, once someone is gone, they are gone. And the fear you are battling of potentially seeing them again is really the anger you failed to unleash when they were right in front of you. We should hang out, he said. It had been 3 years since we dated and worked together, of which I am realizing an Achilles in my form of love. I am servile. This is dangerous when you have the tendency to date artists because nowhere suffers from creative or money blocks quite like us. I'm doing well, he said. Enough time had passed since our karmic severing, and to be honest, he did feel changed. He had grown to be more grateful for what he received, but I had grown to be more selective in how I give. He looked at me like he wanted to say more, and I just sipped my little IPA. I wanted to say more too. I wanted him to say, I'm sorry, and you're great. On one hand, I was letting go of seeking validation from the new people that had entered my life, but old faces had a harder pull. I did not know if it was bitterness that wanted him to say, I was great and he was bad, and I was right and he was wrong. If someone owes you a thanks, a courtesy in exchange for your offered courage, even if delayed, still is nice to receive. I kept it a small talk and did what most people do when they feel someone that made them small um, comes in their presence, act big or act like the bigger person. It was my father who taught me that. The lower you feel inside, the higher you have to present. Suddenly, I was not just funny, I was in the running for SNL. Suddenly, I wasn't just smart, I was Socrates. Suddenly, I wasn't just wise or kind, I was Jesus. I decided to just be so deeply impressive to the surrounding crowd, to hide that somebody in the room made me feel like I had no influence. I was grabbing my coat when he approached. I'd overthought my exit, trying to prove that I was the one that should stay. But it was 1 a.m. And when Latinos start giving you coffee, it means you have to go home. He met me by the coat rack and said, I'm sorry. I should have been more present. I smiled, but I felt numb. I did not feel anything to his sorry, despite internally demanding it. He asked me to meet him for a coffee and um, spend the next time, texting, friendly. But I was done. I really was done. All right, let's heal, let's discuss. So this was tricky because I think I caught myself a little bit in this moment of like, I wish everybody who hurt me could apologize. But I don't know, as somebody who's actively trying to heal and better herself, if that would make a difference. Because the wound is there and they wounded me from their wounds. And it takes a healed person to apologize and a healed person to receive it. And I think as you heal, you realize you really do have to let go and let them. If they want to apologize, let them. If they don't want to apologize, let them. Either way, there's a level of releasing because if you don't want your identity to be based off of the pain that they gave you, you can't keep it anymore. And you can't wait for apologies that might not even suffice. Like he was like, I'm sorry, I should have been more present. And that was nice and that was true, but we had a lot of issues and we weren't gonna talk it out on a coat rack. And he tried to, friendly text after, but that it just I don't know how to make things matter anymore when it comes to the past because I'm in a just thanks for the lessons. I gotta get out of here. And I felt like my response was, let me be a big personality. Let me act like everything is better for me. When I want to be funny, I'm hilarious. When I want to be smart, I'm genius. When I want to be kind and wise, I'm Jesus. So I just kind of leaned in on my knowledge that I can work a crowd. I could be the center of attention if I really want to, and be damned if you don't like it, which is something he didn't necessarily like. And I was I think I was just tired of being angry at life. And part of your anger at life is that you really do want those apologies and you really do think that they will kind of butter the wound and make the wound soft and not so scabby. And some apologies do. Some apologies really do change things and really do make you feel better. But I think the tragedy is that a lot of them kind of land and it's hard not to hold even more resentment after the apology because it really doesn't change the wound. They cut you up and it's over. And it was over. I was done. I was done with dynamics like that. And I was happy that he was doing better. I really was. He seemed to be doing better. If it was just another lie, who knows? But even that, I just don't need to investigate because what I realized is I wasn't doing better. I was never doing better. I was just still trying to figure out what that meant. So check out theandrewviewsitall.com for more episodes. Check out Hadbeen on all music platforms. And, of course, follow.